Hi, Coach Jeff here today to talk about mobile homes. Are they a good investment? It's a great question. We're going to talk about that coming up. If you like this video, just hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate the assistance. All right, mobile homes. Let's talk about these things. Traditional mobile homes are not on a permanent foundation. They're typically on wheels. Sometimes they're blocked up and taken off of the wheels and put on some kind of an ad hoc foundation, but they are defined as a vehicle in almost every state in the country. So if they've got wheels or they had wheels at one time and they haven't been properly affixed to a permanent foundation, they are a mobile home. Okay, rules are different for mobile home. And before I get into that, if by chance a structure, a mobile home, is put onto a permanent foundation and done with permits and done correctly, it converts from a mobile home to a manufactured home in most states. And you'll see these classifications on Zillow, PropStream, places like that. It'll say manufactured home, or it'll say mobile home. Now, some manufactured homes are literally manufactured off-site, and they're built on-site with a permanent foundation, and that is also a manufactured home. But for purposes of this video, we're going to talk about mobile homes versus mobile homes that have been converted to a permanent foundation known as manufactured homes. Okay, mobile homes, once again, they're covered by the vehicle laws in most states. So you don't pay property tax on them like you would in most states for a single family residence, a resting on dirt, stick built or stone built house. These things that are permanent structures registered as either single family houses or manufactured homes or multi-family homes, they're subject to property tax in the state. So you got to pay property tax on these. Mobile home, you pay vehicle tax just like you would to register your car. So you're in two complete, even though they're both housing units, they're completely different spheres of government authority. So on the mobile home side, you're reporting to the Department of Motor Vehicles of that state. You've got to pay vehicle registration every year. You've got to pay a transfer tax, and you've got to be extremely careful when you buy and sell mobile homes. The automotive dealers associations are a lot stronger than the realtor associations. They have a tighter control, and you cannot go out and buy and sell multiple mobile homes without a vehicle dealer license. You could probably get by with doing one per year per state and stay clear of the law. But for example, here in California, if you were to buy and sell a lot of mobile homes without a Department of Motor Vehicle dealer license, you could end up in jail. It is a criminal offense to do. On the home side, you can buy as many homes as you want, buy and sell without a license. You don't need to be a licensed realtor. You just be an investor, a principal in the transaction. You don't have any issues with government authorities. It's all accepted and settled law. But over on the mobile home side, you got to be very careful. Now, there's a lot of money in mobile homes if you do it right. So how do you do it right? If you're going to do a volume in one state, affiliate yourself with some type of motor vehicle broker, pay them a fee, $500 per transaction, pay the proper fees and the registrations, and stay on the correct side of the foul line, and you'll be okay. Mobile homes as a whole are typically less valuable than a stick-built home, and significantly less value. Once it's converted to a manufactured home, it could be worth 50 to 70 cents on the dollar of the same square footage, bedrooms and bathrooms of a stick-built home. But on a mobile home, it's way less than that. It's probably 20 or 30 cents on the dollar in terms of the square footage and that type of thing. With a mobile home, you're paying somebody to rent the ground unless you actually own the ground underneath, and that's a good investment. Once you do that, depending on the state, it may allow you to sell it as a home or as a vehicle. You'd have to check the state laws. But for purposes of this discussion, I'm talking about mobile homes in a park. So you got to be really careful. Back in the day, people used to buy and sell these things like water, and you can make a lot of money. Today, it takes a lot more attention to the laws that are involved with that type of transaction in that state. But on the mobile home side, they're cheap to buy and they're cheap to repair. It's much less expensive to repair a mobile home than it is to repair something that was stick built type thing. So you could strip a mobile home down to the aluminum siding and rebuild that thing for less than half the cost per square foot that you would for a stick built home. Mobile homes, like I said, come with an attached albatross around their neck in that you've got to pay somebody for the space rent. And typically in most parks, the space rent is as much or more than the cost of the mobile home. You may pay $800 a month to rent this space, and you may only have to pay $400 or $500 per month to buy the mobile home. When you get into the mobile home or manufactured home business, you've got to make sure if they're in a park, you've got to get a lot of information before you get involved with this. First of all, is it over 55 park? Is it a senior community? If it is, I would recommend totally staying away from that, because your total market, your absolute market there is senior citizens. And a lot of times they have a limited period of time in which they will live in those homes, and they don't have unlimited income. So you're capped by virtue of typically Social Security and things like that. It's typically not a good thing to get in. And they're very picky about if you were to buy a home in a senior community, you wouldn't probably be able to rent it to another senior. You have to sell it to another senior. So you have a limited market in an over 55 community. I'd stay away from that. The other thing when you get into a mobile home, park rules, you've got to check with the park association or the park manager. And can you, if you were to buy a home there and you wanted to keep it as a rental, can you rent in that community? A lot of times the answer is no. They only allow owners, not renters. Sometimes it's the other way around. You can't be an owner. Unless you're a permanent owner, you can only be a renter. So there are lots of unusual and funky rules dealing with mobile home parks. First thing I would do is not trust what the seller tells you, but I would go and talk to the property manager, look at the HOA rules, that type of thing. See what you can and what you can't do. It's typically much harder to sell a mobile home than it is to sell a manufactured home, albeit there are many more buyers for mobile homes. So when I say it's hard to sell, it's because of all the transactional legal stuff that you've got to do. It's not because of the economics. Economics are there all day long. You can frequently buy these things cheap, sell them for a lot more money, sell them with terms, sell them with financing, sell them on lease option. And if you can do all that stuff and stay on the right side of the foul line legally, it's a great business to be in. But you've got to know what you can and can't do on a state by state, county by county, and park by park basis. Once you've got those rules dialed in, you can go out here and make yourself a ton of money.